train your mind to love something by this method. Numbers is our fundamental. Numbers are charged. Numbers have personality. Number represents a unique person completely. Whatever you give your energy and focus will get energized and start giving you energy back. That numbers have the capacity to guide your life. Numbers have the capacity to energize your life. It is in reflection with your consciousness. Numbers have a way of talking to you. So welcome everyone to Money Meditation School, Money Magnet Meditation Challenge. And as we go ahead into our challenge, we are not only looking at how can we improve our attraction. As we keep on learning, attraction is a much more deeper force than what just meets the eye. But what comes along with attraction is also to stop the reflection. Just like how love and hate goes together with each other, just like how air and water are together, just combined within. Something like that is also with attraction and reflection. They are just two sides of the same coin. If one exists, the other will exist, just like day and night, just like sun and moon in a way. But my main point is for us to understand attraction and reflection. This is something which can really clear our doubts, clear our understanding of what is really happening in our life. One straight point I want to address is most of the times we are revising our approach to life. We are constantly thinking about what am I doing wrong? What's not happening right? What can I do more to make things happen? And sometimes we just don't figure out that sometimes you just need to make space. You just need to clean the closet. Sometimes you just need to make space available to receive. That itself is also part of big work. And another thing we can easily overlook is to remove the resistances, remove the blocks and the obstacles, which is equally important work than just learning how to go fast. So attraction is a very powerful, phenomenal force that we understand and we also feel and we experience, and it really starts to guide us once we experience it. Once you see magnet happening in your life, your mind opens up to new realities. You believe in universe even more. You start understanding your fundamentals very deeply, and you just feel more confident that, wow, things attract to me and there are some natural things created for me. Working on the same principle, I want us to open our conscious mind, because consciousness is about learning, not just about the good things, not just about the beautiful things, but consciousness is about accepting everything as it is. So there are and there can be obstacles in our path. There can be things that resist our progress, not necessarily because it's negative, not necessarily because someone wants us to not progress, and these kind of things don't exist. I really want to say these kind of things don't exist, that someone else's intention is to stop us. Hardly people care about each other or have time to think about each other. We over assume and we kind of go into comfort zone when we assume that the other person is thinking negatively about us. Doesn't happen. Your divine is much more stronger. So don't bother about such things. But if you really want to look into something, is look into yourself. How are you stopping your progress? How are you coming in your own way of progress? What are you doing to open your mind to your success? Are you putting enough energy to accept the success and the result that you're desiring? That needs to be contemplated even more deeper than thinking about other factors. I'm going to be talking about something which is so close to us, but I realized I did not come across anyone who's really talking about this subject in the way that I'm going to present to you and in the way that we think. So let's start by looking at money very closely and what does money represent on the face value. On the face value, money is numbers, right? Without numbers, you cannot imagine money, and numbers completely identify our progress. Numbers is what tells us about our growth. Numbers help us relate with things. Numbers hold one of the most significant value in our life. anything we want to compare, we need numbers. We are born with numbers. We deal with numbers. We invite numbers. When we take target, it's usually numbers. Still, we hardly talk about it. Probably 1/6, 1/7 of the day, and I'm not overestimating. So much of your time, you are thinking only about numbers, some number or the other. Phone number, cash number, amount, time, everything. Your weight, your height. There's absolutely nothing that exists in your life which cannot be identified or you don't relate with numbers. So let's go a little deeper into how do we bind things in our life, right? If I want to train an elephant, what do I need to do? I need to start knowing the elephant. It's possible. It's possible for me, in compared to an elephant, to train such a massive giant. It's possible. What is needed? A relationship. An alignment is needed. So similarly, when you want to train your mind, what do you need to do? Even though it's so complex, you need to align with it. You need to get a relation with it. So we will understand the mind much better by observing how it functions. Our mind has a very simple hook and cling method. It's a hook and cling method. It's not a scientific technical term. These are all my terms, but I'm going to explain you what I mean by it. As soon as you have any memory, you have more than 6 senses. And if you go more into spirituality or knowing yourself more, you will realize there are more than 9 senses. But whatever it is, your senses are where you are receiving information. Just like a bank, you're receiving information. So when you want to deposit money in the bank, you cannot just go and deposit money. You need to clearly identify all details: time, date, account number, amount, how is is it cash, check, complete description so that there is no margin of error. Most importantly, why? If that information needs to be retrieved back, it is very easy and there is no delay in time or there is no confusion. It's exactly how your mind works. When you are receiving information, your mind cannot just take it like that. It's not a go down. It's not a storage area. It's a very complicated and sophisticated storage device, more sophisticated than your computer. You cannot just copy paste file from one place to the other. It's not allowed like that. You need to do a process. Just like the bank. Imagine your mind like a bank. It is a bank. So when you're receiving information, you have to note down all the details. Your senses are punching in all the details, and that's how it gets categorized. We'll be dealing with this part much more deeper later ahead. For now, realize that numbers are one of the easiest way and the first way how we store information, just like a bank. In the bank, they're not connected so much to your name. They are really more interested in your account number. Same like that, our mind, because there are so many languages in the world, has only a superficial connection to the language. It has a more deeper connection and a more sophisticated memory system connected with numbers. Remembering numbers is much easier than remembering names. And if you want to start remembering names, you will have to come up with some kind of coding, which ultimately leads to numbers. Numbers is our fundamental. There is no way of moving ahead in this modern society without not connecting with numbers. Many of our participants here are also having the phenomena of seeing angelic numbers, where you see repeated numbers. We might cover a little bit of that, but this is not just a coincidence. This is not just randomness. There's a very specific science happening behind this. There's a very clear psychosomatic science happening behind this. It's your mind guiding you at all points. So let's make our premise very clear that our mind and body is dedicated 100% for our progress and security. It does not know anything else. You could blame and complain it to be negative. You could blame and complain for it to sabotage, but it is not true. It cannot do that. It does not understand that. What it understands is progress. What it understands is only and only evolution. What could go wrong is your definition of evolution that you teach your brain. Your definition of progress, you teach your brain. That is where you could redefine things and make better progress. Numbers is where the biggest part of improvement could be done, because first of all, there is just somehow, I don't know why, somehow there is just no knowledge around dealing with numbers. There is absolutely no clarity on how should we relate with numbers, something that we deal with throughout the day. Based on law of attraction and the psychology of attraction, we will always have preferences. All of us have preferences. There's nothing bias about it. It's just that our mind can limit things we like just to be able to deal with things in a better way. We can like everything, but we start loving only few things. We call it our favorite because we cannot handle so much information. So we automatically start moving towards or preferring some people, some types of food, some types of colors, some types of numbers. You start observing some numbers. One of the first thing you should understand why we have 10 numbers. Has anyone ever figured that out? Why we have 10 numbers? Yeah, we have 10 numbers because we have 10 fingers. That's it. It's as simple as that. We make it complicated. We want to go deeper into things, but sometimes there is no depth. It's just 10 numbers, 10 fingers. What we saw, we created. If we had 11, we would have a mathematics which would have 11 numbers. All right. There is, of course, no way of proving it, but at the same time, it makes sense to you. Hold on to this. My major point coming to it is what we see, we get attached to. If you repeatedly see the image of a dog continuously, over a time, you will start loving dogs. If you start seeing a particular color continuously, you will automatically start preferring that color. You can even move from hating something to coming back to loving something just by repeating it within your ecosystem. That is how innocent our mind is. Our mind is always ready to learn, is ready to evolve. It's actually not designed to hold on to things very strongly. But if you don't give it new information, it will not let go of old information. That is where the clinging is. So, learning throughout life is one of the best ways to have a healthy life. It's one of the best ways to be happy in life. Keep learning. Coming to numbers, we are born with numbers. We attract some numbers, and some numbers we don't understand. We just don't understand is because we don't deal with it much often. It doesn't mean that numbers have any kind of repulsion to us. It's not really like that. We give it the power of our thought. If you go into numerology deeply, you will realize numbers are charged. Numbers have personality. How we talk about money has personality. Numbers is considered equally a physical entity where each number represents a unique person completely. By your birth chart, they're able to identify your preferences. How does that work? This is where you can closely understand magnet and attraction. This is where you will closely understand how our subconscious and unconscious works. First thing, when you're born, you have been given a date, a time. So you start your relationship with number automatically. And because there is evolution in our mind, what is mine, I feel is already lucky. If this is mine, then this is lucky for me. And that's good. That helps you be more progressive. So once you keep repeating that number again and again, you create a strong bond with it and it gets energized. All the temples in our country are a big proof that you can energize a stone and make it God. So numbers are no different. Whatever you give your energy and focus will get energized and start giving you energy back. It's like water. If you have water at a higher level, automatically water is going to flow to the lower level. So once you energize something, and if you go low in energy, whatever you have energized can energize you back, and you feel it. And that's when you confirm, this is lucky for me. This is amazing for me. You continuously see a person on TV for many times, and he becomes your favorite actor and actress. Our mind is really a repetitive mechanism. If you keep repeating it, it becomes your favorite. You can even train your mind to love something by this method. It actually does happen in the military. That's what they do. So making our connection and realizing the truth of numbers becomes very, 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 very important for us, because our brain and our memory is storing things with these numbers. So we have nothing against having lucky numbers and favorite numbers and preferences for numbers. But today I'm talking about reflection. By not giving enough attention to other numbers, you're not activating the abundance in those numbers also. You're unconsciously not attracting the whole 10 numbers just by having a selective or a limited view on certain numbers. Numerology is a very, very deep science. It cannot be covered in an introduction, but you can definitely realize that numbers have the capacity to guide your life. Numbers have the capacity to energize your life, but it is not restricted to the number itself. It is in reflection with your consciousness. Number one can be very lucky, powerful for you, and I can make number 8 similarly powerful and lucky for me. So numbers don't in itself have the power. It's the mirror that has the power. It's your belief that has the power. If you start believing it so deeply, it will work for you. And as you go deeper into subconscious science and unconscious science, I really invite you, release yourself from superficial attachments and start opening your mind to all kinds of magic and miracles in the world. Allow it to happen. Don't go into the whys and the whats and the hows. Just believe, universe backing you up, divine is with you, and magic is waiting for happen. Because which science attracts you, you cannot so easily identify. Numbers have a way of talking to you. As you go deeper into becoming sensitive and aware about universe, numbers have a way, your intuition has a way of guiding you. Many times you will make decision when you see repetitive signs, or if you see some number, if you see something that you recognize, you confirm your decision, yes, this is the one for me. You go to buy a lottery ticket. How do you choose a lottery ticket? By finding your birth date in it. So what is lucky? Lucky is your belief. And just like how Earth is magneting the moon around it by sending that energy, whoever has the strongest energy will win the lottery. That is the secret. You need to have that kind of belief. I have picked the lucky numbers. There's no room for ifs and buts. That's why you lose many times and then you win, because you get tired and exhausted of complaining about your losing. And when you let go, suddenly you win. It mostly happens when you're in the casino. It mostly happens when you're playing cards, when you're dealing with numbers. In a way, when you let go, it starts to come. So what's really happening is you're not allowing your filter in the mind to define or justify how it came. How is it this coming? Not allowing your accountant in your mind to tally everything. Oh no, it has to make sense somewhere. It doesn't need to make sense. It needs to make sense. It will make sense anyhow, but it makes sense to you at a very deeper level, for which you can increase your meditation. And I really invite you, the moment you find a subject that does not bother you, that is not sitting well with you, just sit with it, meditate, allow first for your universe within, the YouTube, the me tube inside, to give you the answer first, and then go find the answer outside, and then you compare. Trust me, your life will get transformed. Your self-confidence, your self-worth, which is really the magnet, starts going higher and higher when you start depending on your information first and then the knowledge outside. All right. The group work we're doing here is a very good example of collective consciousness. What one person learns, everyone understands automatically. There's a very, very deep phenomena that exists around us, which we want to keep learning how it works. And numbers is part of our collective consciousness. In one state of country, number 1 can be very lucky. And in another state of the country, number 5 can be very lucky. How did the number make this differentiation? It's not the number. It's our relationship with that number. It's the importance we give with that number. And sometimes, and most of the times, you must know someone who has a lucky currency note in his pocket, and he's completely believing that this currency note with this number is my lucky number, and this is going to give me progress and fame. And it happens. It starts to happen like that. So it's really more about how you approach things, and it will mirror back. So let's today release our limitations by having only some favorite numbers and expand ourselves to loving all the numbers, respecting all the numbers, and identifying what is the message in each number and how in our memory each number sits. So in today's meditation, we're going to talk to numbers and listen to the message numbers wants to give us. So please find a quiet place. As we begin our meditation for today, please find a quiet place